Jersey ever. I think his banning percentage of that has got to be up in the 90s. But Tundra as well, with them being second position, they don't want to get Tundra, as Moonmeander played a very, very good Tundra, shows exactly why that hero is first pick material.
Yeah, like I said, I think it's hard to argue against the fact that he is really just one of the best Tundra players out there right now on the competitive HoN scene. And again, another example of that was, of course, the last game. There's the Plague Rider Bubbles locked, as you talked about in the previous game. The complexity, Beacon specifically, loves to really or highly values those suicide style of heroes, such as a Bubble, such as a Plague Rider. So not really a big surprise to see that they're coming out from them. Wretched Hag, the follow-up from Orange. Again, not really a surprise factor, especially with it being Orange. They love them some Wretched Hag, as, of course, again, they did play the last game. I believe it was actually being played by WTF. So now their final lock, it is going to be Glacius, actually. And now Complexity, going to final lock Moraxis. So here we go. I just talked about this last game, you know, kind of referring to Moraxis seeing him banned so often lately. He never gets locked, it seems like. He's either just, he makes it to the blind bans, but he never really gets locked. He's usually just banned outright. But locked here by Complexity, or by Orange, no, by Complexity, that's right, by Complexity with their final lock. So there's a possibility we could see that Moraxis coming out here.
Yeah, there's definitely a good possibility. I know, despite the fact that Complexity does ban him frequently, they do pick him and run him as well. So they understand his potential, and they execute it very well as well.
It's like Fly with Parasite.
Yeah. Well, no. Fly so? Just won't. No, he'll never play with that hero. He'll never play with it. Never play against it. Just yeah. But
get rid of it.
I think he would even blind ban it if they were still playing here in Lockpick. But yeah, as the bans come out, Fade and then Nymphora, both heroes that are very, very difficult to play against in all stages of the game. Next ban coming out for Orange Esports.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so again, this game number 2, if you're down 1-0 if you're Orange Esports Malaysia, you know that you need to win here. You put it with that quick lock in Draconis and the bans on the Mage Bane and the Dark Lady. You know, it's a possibility of them just simply wanting to win the farm game this time, and Draconis definitely does accomplish that. So if they do go with the first pick Draconis, that's the thing, though. You got a very powerful lock pool yet again, and so Complexity will get some strong lock picks themselves out of that pool. But Cthulhu Font and Tempest are the follow-up bans here. So Cthulhu Font even banned by Orange Esports. Obviously, Complexity is one of those few teams out there still that likes to run the Cthulhu Font, as we saw we did see last game, but it was actually by Orange, so oddly enough. Keeper of the Forest and Parasite are, sure enough, the final 2 bans. So Keeper of the Forest, another case of we happened to see him last game and banned this time around here. So regular picking stage about to start, but bans finishing off there.
I'm actually surprised that Silhouette didn't get banned there. With the other 2 hard carries there, Orange Esports locking that Draconis as first pick, you can pretty much guarantee that they're going to pick that out of that pool. And if they ban Silhouette, they don't really have any other strong hard carry to deal with. Obviously, there are other options. Heroes like Forsaken Archer, heroes like even Kronos. I don't think Kronos is actually that strong. I don't know why I mentioned him. But anyway, you get my point. Other things can be substituted.
Like Rampage.
And there's I love Rampage too, but can't really hard carry. But anyway, Ophelia, first pick for coming out for Orange Esports. I like it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Any reason?
It's the best hero in the game.
Yeah, well, that pretty much accomplishes the reason.
It's the strongest jungler, honestly, in my opinion. You can be very, very aggressive with that hero. Yes, Glacius is in the lock pool, and that can be a nuisance, but still, Ophelia has so much roam potential in any lane. It can gank any lane.
Yeah.
It's not like you're just restricted to, okay, well, let's pseudo-try lane bottom, and if the suicide laner comes up out of position, we'll gank him. No, Ophelia can still move top, can still move mid, so has a lot of options. There are Polywog Priest and a Luna coming out for Complexity, so that's going to be a very, very strong start to their lineup. With a Polywog mid, a Luna support, probably in that short lane. We'll have to see. But there's a Pebbles pickup. Now, Orange Esports, I do know that Southeast Asian teams, again, they love to run Pebbles. But, yeah, we'll have to see what they match up with him as far as support goes. Because with that lock pool, you got to be wondering, they want to pick maybe that Draconis. Mm-hmm. That Glacius is still in that pool. And Glacius is kind of a strong counter to Ophelia. I might even think they might first pick, depending on what Complexity does that they might first pick that Glacius out of that pool. Myrmidon! Whoa!
Talk about going out of left field. Yeah, Myrmidon, the final pick. And then there's the Warbeast pickup on Complexity. Of course, I say it like that because Complexity, again, one of these teams that not the most popular hero overall in the competitive scene, but if we are to see it, Complexity is one of those teams where we'll see it on. Draconis is right away the snap pick. First pick, Moraxis right away for Complexity, and then Bubbles to follow, so it's almost as if they knew how this would work. Now, this does open up the option to go Glacius here If Orange actually chose to, then they'd have to run a solo Myrmidon or a solo Glacius even. Probably not going to happen. So I'm assuming Wretched Hag, especially with how much they love to play here, I would think that would be the final pick here for Orange. I was looking at WTF for Orange Esports here with their final pick. But Myrmidon, man, I mean.
I think even, I think Hag is definitely the best pick here. They could use Plague as well. Plague's ultimate is not going to be very effective to many of those heroes. Meraxes can W it. Bubbles can evade it many different ways. Warbeast can, use
run away.
Yeah, can just run away. But as we're talking about Plague, there he is picked up. It's pretty much one of the best suicide heroes in the game. They're probably going to use him in that suicide role. Maybe Draconis mid and like a Myrmidon Pebbles bottom. They could also go Myrmidon Draconis bottom and Pebbles mid. I think actually Pebbles mid is more of Orange esports style, but we'll have to wait and see. The Myrmidon pick should be a lot of fun to watch, though. I don't know how successful it's going to be because really the only stun they have is from Pebbles. As far as lining things up, you can't get stuns to work with Ophelia's Minotaur, but that's about it, and that's even kind of shaky. So, we'll have to see. I really, really do think Complexity's lineup is very strong, very solid. And this is going to mean, unless they decide to man up and go top and have a solo short like Plague, this Warbeast is going to get completely uncontested farm. So it really depends on how Orange decides to lane it.
Well, another funny thing to point out is that you see in the chat there right before the game started, Haxerin making the point, you won't see any war traps this game. He is actually playing Polywog Priest, and so it is kind of a rare moment here for Complexity, seeing Haxerin not on that right-click, Rice farming hero. So going to be playing Polywog Priest. I mean, obviously a fantastic player, so I'm sure he will ultimately do just fine. But it is definitely a little bit different than what we're used to seeing coming up from Complexity. But because of the setup, of course, Chessie, he is their go-to Warbeast player. And obviously, B-Kid loves to play Meraxes. So as you mentioned, they ban him a lot. But when they get the chance to pick him up, B-Kid is the one to play. And he plays it very, very well. I think Moon Meander actually plays him a little bit too. But Moon Meander going to play on Bubbles this time. And yet again, the boots into the Ward of Sight. Going to try to go down to the bottom lane and place that water set as soon as possible. And I'm looking at Orange Esports. None of them have even moved yet, let alone even purchased items. So I don't think they're going to be able to get there in time as far as protecting this water site placement. So we'll see how much that affects them. But yeah, I mean, again, it's Myrmidon. The rare times that we see him, I always like to bring up, when the Tri-Lane era was so powerful. I mean, he was actually really the go-to support in the Tri-Lane era. He fits so well with your Behemoth, your Hammerstorm, your Magnus even. Because it's setting up another stun to set up his wheat field basically, but that doesn't really happen anymore, of course. So I am really intrigued though to see how Shu Yu, fantastic player in his own right, does on Myrmidon here against this Hellborn team. Whether or not we see some awesome wheat fields, and obviously the Magic Carp can also be somewhat annoying to deal with if you're the opposition. And his ultimate does allow him to be more of a tankable support. I mean, you use the ultimate if you're starting to get a little bit of damage on you, and you can survive a little bit longer, so that's a good thing too.
I love the hero. I think he does a ton of damage as a support. He has very, very low range, but it's more a matter of if she can hit her spells, then she's very, very effective. But yeah, I think regardless though, Myrmidon is a hero that has a place in the scene. It's just I think teams are scared to pick him up. But I think it is going to be a man-up tri-lane. Myrmidon, Pebbles, and Ophelia. I'm really happy that they're actually manning up. With the lane set up from Complexity, it's like so obvious it's going to be a suicide Bubbles. In my Plague should destroy Bubbles, like absolutely obliterate him 1v1, especially in his easy lane.
It's Moon Meander though.
It is Moon Meander. Actually, Plague is walking. Where's Plague going? Maybe we're going to see a Draconis solo short against Bubbles. Either way, either of those heroes should destroy. So it is going to be Draconis is kind of juking me on the camera here.
They're both going mid. Dual lane mid, 0 bottom, 3 top. Typical strats.
There you go. Exactly.
No, Plague's probably going to go bottom. He's just going to deny the mid, I would think.
Yep. So it's going to be a Draconis versus Poly mid, a pseudo tri-lane, and actually, if they suspect the pseudo tri-lane, I would hope to see that someone on this Hellborn squad, most likely Franzi here, blocks this main hard camp here, so that it prevents Ophelia from getting the very. I almost said Chessie.
Might as well,
So it prevents Ophelia from getting the very, very easy creep here.
Yeah, of course, Chessie. Awesome Ophelia player. I think the best out there right now. on the competitive scene for sure. But yeah, so we'll see if Franzi looks to do that, if they get that information. I don't think they have it just yet by any means. Myrmidon is still waiting to kind of get a ward of sight down. He's going to run over here, get a ward of sight at the rune spot probably, which he is going to run right into Franzi's zone. He pretty much places it in the exact same spot, a little bit northeast of it. So now he's coming out to maybe place it at the camp, but you do see a Luna and Moraxis. He got it down though, so we'll see if that eventually gets countered, I'm sure, but it is going to block.
One sentry is going to counter both of those, by the way.
Oh, true.
Because they're so close together. So if Franzi has a heads-up play and knows how close that Myrmidon, had to have cast that. And actually, Franzi might be in a little bit of trouble. If he gets caught in a wheat field, oh, that was very, very close, just on the very tip of that. So, but yeah, in about a minute, he could counter both of these wards, and that's going to be really unfortunate for him.
And he did also block the hard camp, as you were talking about, just prior to that, too, which is why he was there. So, yeah, very smart play by Franzi coming out. And I'm sure, again, obviously fantastic support players. He's proven time and time. We'll see that Ward of Revelation purchase, and, well, he'll make up the gold that he spent on the Ward of Revelation. So, it'll by all means be worth it for him.
This is what I've talked about so much, and this is for all those teams that are not quite at the highest level. Is to look at exactly what Complexity does. They realize they cannot win this top lane. They should not win. What does Franzi do? He doesn't stay up in here or stay up in the lane and maybe try to help get the lane positioning or help out Moraxis because, guys, I can't farm. Hello, help me. No, you're not going to win the lane, so he's going to make something happen in another lane. It doesn't have to be mid. It can also be bottom. He's going to loop all the way around behind this playground. That's exactly what you have to do. And it's going to directly pay off, because I don't think the Plague is going to suspect this.
Yeah, and obviously if he gets the bloodlust kill, then that's just 100%, it just worked out perfectly. But he isn't necessarily going to go all the way down here. He's going to start running back towards the middle lane even. Look at Chessie. He actually was in the Legion jungle, but now he's going back to the Hellborn jungle even. So a little bit interesting there, but I guess maybe, I don't know if they actually spotted Ophelia.
They might have.
I think with this ward aside, they probably did actually. You're right. They spotted Ophelia coming back to her own jungle. So Chessie says, all right, if you're going to go there, then I'll go here. Again, that just goes back to what you were just saying for that matter of just the constant movement. If you can't win a certain place, you might as well go elsewhere and do just fine there. So speaking of doing just fine, Moraxis being in a 1 versus 2 situation, he is still level 3, so that's the good news, and he actually has 4 creep kills, so managing to do decent right here, and even another deny on top of that. But Pebbles, he is getting free farm for the most part. He's now 12-6 already, being played by Wang Wing here, and he's already got his early boots, in fact. So good start for Pebbles at the top lane.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, this is the free farm lane for Orange Esports, is this top lane. And he should be doing just fine. If Moraxis being played by Beacon can just kind of soak up some levels, maybe snipe out a couple CS with his axes as well as his hatchet, that's all he really needs to do. In the meantime, you got Chessie. He's going to be free farming these woods, and that's what he does best, honestly. He always farms very, very quickly. Is there Sentry out? I'm surprised, actually, that Franzi, or a Sentry has not been purchased, or Ward of Revelation, I should say. I know that he doesn't have the gold, but maybe from somebody, because that's like a gem. If you get 2 for 1 right there, that's pretty big. But mid lane action, let's check out some early CS. It doesn't matter too much, but 11-3 coming out for Draconis, and Polywog about 12-4. So and actually Draconis at 12-3. So it's basically identical right there in the mid, as it really should be. I expect that matchup to be quite even, to be honest.
Yeah. And then, of course, the bottom lane, Plague Rider versus Bubbles. And actually, Bubbles is doing a fantastic job down here. He's 12-7 against a 9-7 Plague Rider. So you see right now the position is a little bit more in favor of Plague Rider, but earlier it was definitely in favor of the Hellborn team. Now, speaking of counter-warding, the Legion team is actually the first one to counter-ward up here as they take out the Ward of Sight that was placed there, of course, initially by Franzi. And so a little bit interesting situation coming out there. Now Myrmidon and Ophelia coming up to the top lane. Stellaris completely missed right there. That is huge. The W is going to be used by Moraxis with that Arcane Shield. No Wii Field just yet. The Wii Field will be dodged right there. The Sidestep King coming through for B-Kid. And will it be enough to get away in the end? I believe it should be. Oh,
good blocking.
Look at the blocking with Ophelia's minion right there. The Catman champion is MVP. Weedfield will hit Aluna. And Aluna's actually still in a little bit of trouble now. She will survive in the end. But you are right. Mr. Ghost, what hero blocking right there with the Catman champion. That no doubt set up the kill on a B-Kid.
That was, though, really good sidestep from the Sidestep King B-Kid. I actually thought that Weedfield was going to hit, and I was going to quote B-Kid, even got hit. Actually, Bubbles going to maybe pick up a kill. Nope, his Shell Surf was on cooldown, he already used it. So Plague Rider actually not doing well in this bottom lane.
Yeah.
I'm going to check the pings because I know it does make a difference. Moonman is sitting at 100, whereas WTF is sitting at about 240. So actually it shouldn't play that much of a role. So Moonman are definitely winning this lane in a lane that, honestly, he should lose. Plague Rider in his safe lane against the Bubbles. You could say, but Drove, like, Bubbles can just autocast and take cover and constantly avoid the nuke from Plague Rider. Not really, because if you time your auto attack the same exact time, they actually he did it correctly, but or not Plague, but I should say Bubbles did. If you time your auto attack the same exact time that you nuke, you can't do it.
Yeah.
It's really well. Maybe you could if you bind your auto casts, but it's very, very difficult. So
A lot of things that need to happen.
Exactly. Anyway, yeah, but the hero block in the top, I was going to call out B-Kid. He said, I never get hit by wheat fields. I just don't. That's why Myrmidon sucks. I can always dodge them.
He didn't. To be fair, he didn't. So.
Yeah, I know. I was going to call him out if
you wanted to, is what you're trying to say. You wanted to call him out, but no, he made the right play. He was the sidestep king right there. The Luna power throw, not going to be enough for the kill on Myrmidon. Got it close up, but here comes a hasted Polywire Priest, and actually maybe get a double tap out of this. Or Willie, the Magic Carpet is done. The Windfield will miss, but the final auto attack. No, the nuke at the last second from Haxer, and the War Trap goes down. And killed on Philia. What a double tap kill coming out for Haxer. And in the meantime, XXF picks up a kill onto a Luna. But Haxer, what a double tap. He escapes. And he's not out of the woods just yet, literally. I mean, Draconis is going to sit in the middle lane. So he will survive when it's all said and done. Wow. I know he doesn't play Polywog often, at least on the competitive scene. But, boy, he did a fantastic job there.
That was really well played by him, I got to admit. I will say, though, that Myrmidon, he could have just attacked him once and killed him.
Yeah.
He also could have just cast the Wheat Field right after, because one of the great things about, he used the fog to his advantage. He had the carp, and with the haste rune, it's actually kind of hard to, well, it's very easy, I should say, to get the stun by it. And had he cast that Wheat Field much quicker, he would have got a very easy kill. But Haxerin, very good heads-up play at the end.
Bottom lane. Bubbles take cover. It's going to be used. That's bouncing around, though. He uses take cover. It just bounces back to him, and it gets that kill. That was fantastic from WTF right there. The initial part of that was Bubbles dove on top of it. But look at Chessie comes in with his minions and snipes out WTF. So at least they got something out of it. But fantastic play by WTF initially. Put in the fade to black on the health potion tick, just enough to save him. And obviously the ultimate, sure, a little bit of luck involved, but that's just part of the ability.
Of course,
when it's all said and done.
Yeah, it is. You can always be like, oh my god, it's not fair, it shouldn't have happened. Well, it did, and it happens like from time to time. So, yeah, unfortunately I didn't see that, but I'll take your word for it. Well played by WTF. He is still losing that lane, unfortunately, for his sake. But good job by Moon. Nonetheless, he does get killed, but a good job by also Chessie, able to snipe him out with those wolves. He wasn't even there. He's like, I'm just going to farm and kill you in the meantime. And so he's actually
free hero kill.
Yeah,
Sweet.
clearing up some Ancients right now. He's going to go for what looks like an early Abyssal Skull. I've watched Chessie play Warbeast a lot, and he usually goes for a very fast Steam Boot, so kind of changing up the build a little bit this game.
Well, it makes you wonder if that is a result of what's kind of been going on, because he's been to both jungles several times now, because with the movement that's been happening, he's been to the Hellborn at least twice. He's been to the Legion at least twice. You see right now he was even killing Ancients, actually. And now he's going to finally fall back and get some regen going on. So maybe that has a little bit to do with the circumstance at hand. But looks like, well, and he still could go Steam Beards. I mean, he could just go the Hungry Spirit for the sake of the lifesteal for that regen purpose, I guess. But yeah, so we'll see what Chessie ultimately decides to go for. But yeah, that was good for him, though. He got the free kill out of it. He does go okay. Chessie going a little bit different. He goes Whispering Helm here. That did not see that coming.
I can't say I did either. Now, one of the fun things you can do with Warbeast is the creeps who do dominate with that Whispering Helm, they get the attributes from your ulti as well. So they get the max movement speed, they get the no collision.
Yeah.
And they will get the damage from your Warcry as well.
Huh.
So that is a fun ability. It works out well. Here's the only problem: if your creep dies, it's like, well, I just wasted 2,000 gold to kill, to control.
And a 300-second cooldown.
Yeah. The sheer ability of being able to farm faster with a Whispering Helm is not effective on that hero because you already have creeps to work with to take the damage for you. So as far as farming quicker, it doesn't help at all. That's kind of a trollish item in my opinion. I know he likes to get Whispering Helm. We had him on an interview once with Ophelia, and he got it, and he said that he actually thinks it's quite good. It is good if you can micro with it, but again, if those creeps die, it's like, well, there's a waste of gold. So.
Yeah, it is. It's definitely different, but we'll see if that eventually works out, of course, for Warbeast here, being played by Chessie. Yeah, of course, now going the Whispering Helm route. We are sitting in a pause now. Apparently a little bit of issues, and hopefully nothing too serious, though. Going to go ahead and reconnect and be good to go. Let's take a quicker look, or closer look even, at how other things are happening. I don't even know what I'm trying to say. And how farm's going on other heroes. We got Pebbles at 39 and 15. He is currently sitting at 280 gold per minute. And then Draconis, who's actually leading the way overall at 285 gold per minute. I don't know why it's not a surprise there, but he is with a currently 41 and 10 creep farm. And again, the top farm in the game. So good news there for ORGE Esports, with Draconis off to a successful start, as well as Pebbles. I think it's the big mark, though, because, again, Draconis it's almost expected, but Pebbles, it can go either way. But he has been the free farm lane, so I guess that kind of does make sense at the same time. So you look at the Hellborn team and where their shining stars are. I guess it's really Haxrin on this Polywire Priest, but it's not like it's taking off by any means. I mean, he's even losing in farm, actually, to Draconis, being in that middle matchup. So,
well, it's actually really Moon. Despite him dying, the fact that he did it as well as he did in that bottom lane, he's really the shining star right now. Also, B-Kid, I mean, the fact that he did die as well, but 25 CS in this lane, I'm impressed. Like, that's pretty damn good. I was going to say something he'd maybe have, like, 10, 15 if he's lucky, but 25, that's really, really good.
Yeah, that's actually
a lot of timeouts
impressive.
coming out.
Yeah, I don't know. I was looking at that over here on the Legion side. It's like, well, apparently they're just giving up. No. I'm sure. I don't know what WTF is actually doing. I assume he's just testing his keyboard or something, but he's just typing out crazy things. Yeah, that ultimate was pretty awesome. But like you said, I mean that's the thing with the Plague. That's part of the ability. It's sometimes you'll have those moments like he had right there. Other times you'll have those moments where it's like it doesn't even bounce once to the hero. It just stays on the creeps, and you're like, well, that got a good amount of farm out of it, I guess. So yeah, some more times out. Yeah, this is unfortunate here from ORGE Esports. Again, hopefully nothing too serious. Hopefully it's just a matter of a little bit of luck right here, or unluckiness right here. That would be the pretty bad way to end things right now, if that was the case. But it looks like the reconnects are actually happening.